Hello guys, and welcome again. I am Mr. JF Chavangwane, and we are here to make sure that you are learning to help you always with your schoolwork. Now that we are unable to go to school due to the coronavirus, I'm sure you are there at home, you are safe, you wash your hands regularly, you make sure you social distance yourself. So now we have received the question which is based on analytical geometry. Now, if we read this question together so that we are able to follow what is happening here. Now, we are told that this question is extracted from one of the previous question papers from the Department of Education. So we have to answer. So doing question papers is one of the best things that you have to do because it makes you get used to the examination language. So here we have a question which is saying circles C1 and C2 in the figure below have the same center M, and then now, say, is this a wrong question because I don't see any circles? No, it's not a wrong question. This question is based to make you able to visualize and analyze situations, but then we will see how best we can attend the question. So they said circle C1 and C2 in the figure below have the same center M. So now that means you have two circles in your mind now, two circles that are sharing the same center M. So where is M? This is the center of our two circles, right? Again, you read your statement. Please make sure you read the statement, understand. Let's continue. Now, okay, now I understand that we have two circles that are sharing the same center. Now, what else? P is a point on C2, right? So that means those two circles, one of them, they have P as their point, right? And then what else? P is a point on C2, and then PM intersect C1 at D, right? So now the language of maths is coming to haunt you. The word intersect, what are they trying to tell you? That means they meet at that point, right? That means PM intersect C1 at D. So that means you have the line PM. What is PM? There it is. There is line PM, right? That means PM is meeting the circle at the point D, circle C1, right? At D. Then what else do we know? We know that the tangent, now we are told, Jesus, now they are talking of a tangent. So your maths language is very important here. Now if they are saying it's a tangent DB, right? DB. What is a tangent? Ask yourself. The maths language there. The moment you don't understand the tangent, that means the question you are standing, chances of losing it. Now they are saying the tangent DB, the tangent DB to C1. That means this tangent is a tangent to a circle C1, right? We don't see the circles, but then in imaginary, so I'm sure you can create your own sketch of what is happening here, right? That means it intersects the circle C2 at B. That means, okay, the other circle, it must pass through B because they are saying it intersects. It is where the circle is meeting the tangent. If they are saying it's intersect, then you are also given the equation of the circle C1 and also the equation of that tangent line, right? So the first thing you do before you attend the question, try to sketch around to make sure you picture the words. You make sure you have the image of the words, all right? Now what I know is that I have the circle, and then one of the circle is C1, and then we are told that this line, the line DB, which is a tangent to C1. That means if they are saying it's a tangent, that means I have my circle, right? My circle, right? C1, right? And then now we see that the line DB becomes our tangent to the small circle C1, right? We said this circle is C1 because this is a tangent, right? They said the tangent DB to C1, so this is a tangent. It only touches this circle at where? At only one point. The language of maths is important there. Okay, right, let's see the other one. The other one, we're told that P is a point on C2, so we have a circle that is passing here. And again, what else we were told? We were told about B. What else did they say about B? They said that this tangent is meeting the circle, right? C2. So now we have to sketch the other circles that we do not the other circle that we do not see, so that we put this in weights, right? My drawing is not perfect, but I think it's fair, right? So this circle that is in brown is circle C. This circle is circle C2, right? And then point P. So now the statement is there in weights now. It is there in a pictorial form. So what else do we have to know? Now that you are given equation of a circle and also equation of a straight line, I assume you have already done those things at school. So now we read the question, right? The first question, they are saying determine the coordinate of center M. So now coordinate of a center of a circle, right? So now a circle in the equation of a circle in its standard form, it has the form x minus x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared equals to r squared, where x1 and x2, those are your coordinates of the center of your circle. Those are coordinates of the center of the circle. And then these values, this one, y and x, those are any points on the circle. The y and these y's, they represent any point on the circle, right? So now you know that, okay, we look at this equation of a circle. We can use this equation to find the coordinates of the center, but then to find the coordinate of the center, we have to rewrite this equation in that standard form. So to do that, we require a knowledge of solving equations. Now, I know most of you do not like this method, but it's compulsory here. So now, to be able to rewrite this thing in that format, we need to go back to grade 11 work, whereby we were taught about completing the square. I know most of you don't like to complete the squares, you just like to put in a quadratic equation. So now, completing the square is a requirement here. So how do we complete the square? I'll just take you through a revision problem, right? To say, how do we complete the square? So suppose we take an equation now, x squared. To remind you how to complete the square, I'm doing this equation to help you remember in case you don't remember how to complete the square. So now if you have this equation, which is a quadratic equation, remember a quadratic equation has the format ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is the coefficient of the term with x squared, b is the coefficient of the term with x, c is the constant term. So now what do? You write your value of a. Your a value must always be 1. So if you had the number here like a 2, you were supposed to divide throughout to make sure that to complete a square, a must be 1. That is a condition. This is a condition to complete the square. So our equation, we're lucky to get an equation which has a coefficient of 1. So to complete the square, make sure that the coefficient is 1. If you have a number before the x square, make sure you divide throughout with that number. So now our condition 1, a is 1, so that means that condition is satisfied. Then next, what do? We write that expression, those of with x in a bracket. So we have x squared minus 6x, then you leave some space, you see what do we do with that space, plus 8 equals to 0. So the step now, you have to see the value of b in this equation. What is the value of b here in our equation? Here, the value of b, the number before the term with only 1x, so is equals to negative 6. To complete the square, you need to have half of b, and then you square it, that, right? So what is the value in this case? In this case, what is a half of b? Half of b, our b we said is what? Negative 6. So you have this, what is it? Is negative half of negative 6. What is it? You get negative 3. Then you square this, you get 9. Then you take this 9, put it here where I said there you open a space. Then that means you get a 9, right? What else now? We have okay. So now okay, let's erase here. To erase here, let's erase to make sure we have sufficient space, right? We can erase this one as well now that you know what is happening. So okay, thanks. Now we got a positive 9, right? So next, compare this equation, this one and that one, and the equation. So if we were to compare this one, then this one and that one, what do we see? We see that there is x squared, there is negative 6x, there is plus 8. But then this equation, what is the difference? We have added a 9. Make sure this equation is the same as that one. How do we make it the same as that one? We make it the same by subtracting a 9. So this equation is exactly the same as that old equation, the given one. So next, what do? You continue. Then you have what? X squared minus 6x plus 9. Then what is 8 minus 9? Put bracket. 8 minus 9, what is it? 8 minus 9 is negative 1 equals to 0. Then the next thing, you factorize this bracket. If you factorize those brackets, you get x minus 3, x minus 3, and then minus 1 equals to 0. So that means this one is x minus 3, this bracket squared, minus 1 equals to 0. So you see you have two identical brackets, so you can put them, you can put one bracket and square that equals to 0. So what else? What is next? So unfortunately I don't have enough space, so I have to erase and go back and erase, but I don't want to erase here. I think we can. Sorry guys. Okay, so now we don't have to erase. So if you have this, now you have x minus 3 in bracket minus 1 equals to 0. So we can transpose that one to that side. Then you have x minus 3 all squared equals to 1. So what do you do next? You take square root on both sides. The next step is to take square root on both sides. Then that means you have x square root on both sides equals to square root of 1. So you have x minus 3, if you take the square root, equals to plus or minus 1. So that means x minus 3 is equals to 1, or x minus 3 equals to negative 1. To solve this first equation, you have x minus 3 equals to 1. So x is equals to 1 plus 3. Then you get a 4. Then this one, you transpose that one to that side. So you get x equals to minus 1 plus 3. So this one, what is x? Our x, if we solve here, you get 2. So our x is either 2 or 4. This is all about completing the square, but this was not our focus. Our focus is to solve the problem. No, okay. What was the problem? How did we get here? Let's go back to our question now. Our beautiful question here is saying, okay, it's saying let us determine the coordinate of center M. So we need the coordinate of this center. Now to find the coordinate of a center, we can read our question. Any information that is in the statement is very useful. So now we see that we are given the equation of the small circle, right? So we can use this equation to find the center. Remember, I told you that an equation of a circle is in the standard x minus x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared equals to r squared. And then I told you that this x1 and x2, they represent the coordinate of your center, and then x and y, they are just any point on that circle. So now that we are given the equation of our small circle, then we can use it, using the knowledge of completing the squares, to rewrite in this form. So what do? We take our equation is x squared, our equation of that circle, x squared plus 2x plus y squared plus 6y plus 2 equals to 0. Then the first thing what we do, we rearrange our terms into bracket, those ones with x completing the square. That is the method. So what do? We rearrange our terms into bracket, our x alone. Let's put our x and let's put our x into bracket and leave a space, plus the y's in their own bracket, y squared plus 6y, leave a space, right? The constant term is there, plus 2 equals to 0. So what do? We look, you remember I said the coefficient of your x squared, or the coefficient of the term with the squared, must always be 1. Is this 1? Yes, this is 1. If it was not 1, we're supposed to divide. So we are privileged there. What do we do with completing the square? We look at the value of p. What is the value of p here? The value of p is 2, because p is the term that has a single x. Then you have the value of p and square it. So the value of p, if you have it, you have half of 2 equals to 1, then square that, then equals to 1. Put it there, right? So you have added a 1 plus 1. You have to subtract that 1 you added there in that constant term, right? So with this one again, coming here, the coefficient of the term with squared, is it 1? Yes. So if it was not 1, supposed to make it a 1. So then what do we do with completing the square? You have the term p and square it. So what is our p here with this equation? The p is the value with only y, right? With only y. So what we do, half of p is 6. Then what do you get? You get a 3. Then you square a 3 equals to 9. Write it there. What is it? 9, right? Then remove the 9. You write and remove. Then we remove there again. Minus 9. Sorry, I don't have a space. Minus 9. Then what did we do? We added a 9. So our equation, we have x squared plus 2x plus 1 plus y squared plus 6y plus 9, right? Then this one, 2 minus 1 minus 9 is equals to, this one minus 1 minus 9 is minus 10 plus 2, so we have negative 8 equals to 0. So what do? We transpose our constant term, go away constant term, go to those ones, okay? Then we remain with x squared plus 2x plus y. Then what do? Y squared plus 6y plus 9, right? Equals to 8. So next, we do factorization of the terms to make sure they are in that format. How do we factorize this equation? If you are unable to factorize, make sure you can solve, you can take this equation and this part alone, sorry, we can take this part, okay, sorry, you can take this part alone and that part and equate to 0 and solve for those terms and find the values of x1 and x and y2. So by factorization, I am seeing that this is x plus 1 squared, sorry, x plus 1 squared plus, what is here? X plus 3 squared equals to 8. So what are the values of our cent? You see you have a 1 and a 3. Now to write the coordinate of the center, you change the sign of the values, right? Your x1 has x1 is the x value of our coordinate of our center. Now the center is what? Plus 1. So when you write your answer as a coordinate, you change the signs, right? You change the sign. Then you have a plus 3 here. You have negative 3. So these are your coordinate of your center M. So they are -1 and -3. Make sure after solving your question you check your answer if it's making sense. If you have positive numbers here, that means, let's go here. What are the coordinates? X in this side is negative, so we are supposed to get a negative x, and then we got that thing as -1 is correct. Then y in this direction is what? Negative. So we're supposed to get a negative. So our answer is making sense. So if you got positive values here and you are happily writing them there, that means there must be something somewhere upstairs that is not right. So, okay. Then what is the next question? The next question is saying, let us find the radius of our center C1. Oh, good. Thanks, Lord. It's a very nice problem to do. Okay. You see, I have that small space there, so it will be enough to fit there. Remember the equation of a standard cell? You have this side here. Whatever is this side is equal to r squared. That means this side is equal to your radius squared. So what is our r squared equals to? R squared in this case, what is it equals correspond? The terms that they look alike. R squared is equal to 8. So what is our r? What do? Solve for r, take the root both sides. Then what is r? R is equal to root of 8. So now we have solved the radius of the small equation of the small circle C1, which is equal to 8. R is equal to 8. Oh no, our r is root of 8. Root of 8. Our r is root of 8, not 8. Okay? So I'm sure you are clear with that part. If you are not clear, the comments are there for that. To comment and say, sir, there and there I did not understand. We will try to attend you. So now the next question is saying, determine the coordinate of D, which is a point where the point where line MP and the circle intersect. Oh, good. Oh, thank you, Lord. This question is very interesting. They told you, they just gave you the answer. They told you that D is the point where line MP and the circle C1 intersect, right? So you have the line MP or PM, the line PM or MP intersect. So if you have 2 points that they are intersecting, that means they share the same common point. So what do we do? Can we write the equation of our circle now that we have the center, we have everything there? So we can write our equation of a circle first. This circle C1. So our coordinate of center is x plus 1 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals to 8. Now we have the equation of, this is the equation of C1. The small circle, we have the equation of C1, right? And again, what else are we given? They don't just give you those things for fun. They gave you the equation of the line PM, the equation of that line we are given. So that means at this point D, they are sharing the same common value of x, the x value and the y value. So that means the line, the equation of the line PM and the circle, where they meet, they are sharing the same common value of x and y. So if we look, we are given the equation of the line PM, right? This line PM, which is y equals to x minus 2. So that means we can equate the equation. How? Let's take that equation, right? To find this equation, we are given the y value. We remember I said the x's here, they represent any point on your circle, and this one they represent your center. So any point on our circle, it is point D. And what are the value? What are the point? What are the values there? The coordinate of D. If you use this equation, the coordinate of D we do not know, but D we can say x here. If we make x will be equal to y plus 2. So x is y plus 2 here. And what is the y value? Y is x minus 2. So you can take any point and substitute there, right? So, but you must make sure you do not substitute these 2 points, right? To say, okay, we substitute x with y plus 2. And here you substitute y with x plus 2, because you will have two variables, two unknown. You will have x and y. You can't solve the equation. So I'll choose to substitute y with x because it's very simple. There is given. So this one remains with that x squared plus, what is the y value at this point? Our y value is x minus 2 plus 3. And then you square this one and equate to 8. Then what do we have? This is x plus 1 all squared plus x minus 2 plus minus 2 plus 1 is equals to plus 1 squared equals to 8. So you see this bracket, they are the same thing, right? The same thing. So that means you have what? 2x plus 1 all squared equals to 8. If you did not recognize that this is the same thing, it doesn't matter. You can go along, expand and solve the brackets there, which means now we can divide by these two both sides, so we make our life easy. Then you have x plus 1 squared equals to 8 divided by 2, you get a 4. Then what is next? You know how to solve. In simple ways, whatever method you use to solve for this, it doesn't matter as long as you are solving, right? Then I choose to put square root both sides so that I make my life easy. So don't say, if you don't know, if you don't understand how to solve this thing, you solve with your own method. There are many ways of killing a cat in math, so I don't know which one you like. So you have x plus 1 equals to, then here you get plus or minus 2. Please remember that if you put a root has two solutions, a negative and a positive solution, so you have to write that. Then let's erase here, open the space. Let's erase to open the space. Okay, then what do we have? Then that means we have x, now you have x plus 1 equals to 2, or x plus 1 equals to negative 2. Transpose this product to the other side. Then you have x is equals to 2 minus 1. So what is x? 1. This side, you transpose that product, this one, to that side. Then that means you have x equals to minus 2 minus 1. Then that means you remain with what? Minus 3. So now you have x as 1 and the other x as negative 3. So let us look and see if it's making sense, right? They said D. D, where is D? D, it is in this quadrant, right? So in this quadrant, our x here must be what? It must be negative. It can never be positive. So this guy here, x cannot be 1. So x cannot be equals to 1 because this side x is a negative, and then that x you get a positive 1. So what is our x? Our x remains negative 3. So that is the value of the x value of D there. So you see, x value of D is negative 1. So next thing, you want what? The coordinates. To have coordinate, that means we must have an x value and a y value. So let's see. We don't have space. Let's erase here, right? So now that we found our x, we said x is equals to negative 3. So what do you do to find y? You substitute in any of the equation, whether you substitute with the circle and solve for y, or with the straight line and solve for y, because the point lies in both of them. It doesn't matter, but choose the easiest way, man. So you choose the easiest way. What do? You take the equation of that circle. I choose this one because the simplest equation to deal with. Then you have x minus 2. Then what is our x? Our x, you substitute negative 3. So you have negative 3 minus 2. Then you have y is negative 5. Then coordinate D is equals to what? Negative 3 and negative 5. I'm sure you understand why we said x cannot be 1. We said x cannot be 1 because x here is negative, because it's in the negative side of x. If it was that side, you were going to choose x as 1 because it cannot be negative, because this side the x values are positive here, and this side you have negative, right? So that is it for point D. We can erase and write the values of D there so that we write our coordinate of that point because we have solved for them. So this is the way I like solving. When you found something, write it on the question. Maybe you will use it in the next question. So what are the coordinates of D here? We write them here. We said x is what? -3 and -5. So it makes sense, -5 because it's negative in the y values. So please make sure you don't get answers and write them comfortably without reasoning. After solving it for your answer, you reason. Is it making any sense? Yes. If it's not making any sense, then you make it make sense. Okay? So right. Next question. Let's see. What are these people saying? All right. These guys are beautiful friends. What are they saying here? Okay. They are saying if TP is equal to 4√2, determine MP. Where is TP? If they are talking, just before you read the whole sentence, just picture where is it. TP, this is TP is equal to 4√2. Let's write that one. TP is equal to 4 square root 2. Right? Determine MP, the radius of circle C2. They told you it's the radius of circle C2. So now we can just sketch like that. Okay? Now, let's write information that we know already on our diagram. All right? Do we know this line MT? Sorry, we already calculated the radius of this circle MT, right? In the previous question where we found that the radius is equal to √8. Remember this question here, they were asking the small circle, the radius of the small circle, and it was found to be √8. And what is dp here? dp is equal to 4, sorry, dp is equal to 4 square root 2. Then this line is 4 square root 2. Now go back to your Euclidean geometry, your circle geometry, to your theorems. Now you have a radius and a tangent. What is the relationship between a radius and a tangent? Oh, I'm sure my beautiful learners, you know that the radius is perpendicular to the tangent. So what do you have now? How good. What do you have? You see now you have what? What kind of triangle do we have here? You have a right angle triangle. So you can draw it. We can just extract it so that you see what is happening. I'm sure you can see, right? Okay, let's draw the triangle. Sorry, let's draw the triangle. Okay, let's draw it. Let's just draw it. Okay, then you have that line. Okay, and then this one. And then we extract. To extract, you take out the triangle. It's not important to take it out, but I'm taking out to make sure my learners, you understand. My beautiful learners, I know you must understand. Then you have 4 root 2, and then this one is D, and this one is M, and then this one is P, and then you have a 90 degree. Square root 4 root 2 and square root of 8. What is the relationship? Remember your grade 10. This guy, a famous mathematician, Pythagoras, and a physicist. So the longest side hypotenuse is the square of the hypotenuse is equal to MD. Whether it's DM or MD, you like it the way you like it. I like it the way I like it. So we like it at different angles, right? I like it to say MP is equal to square root now of MD squared plus DP squared. Now put in the values. What is MD? MD is equal to the square root of 8 all squared plus DP. What is DP? 4 root 2. Then if you are here, we borrow our favorite friend. There is a square and everything is under the square root. Then we borrow our beautiful friend, our calculator. Please help us, our beautiful friend. Where are you? You are hiding from us. Okay. Then we have a square root, a big square root. Please make sure you put in bracket whatever you write, because many learners, they tend to lose marks because they don't know. They have a problem of punching calculator. So the square root, the small one is under bracket, is square root of 8, and then close your bracket. We close our bracket, plus, and then plus what? 4 square root of what? Of 2. Then you close your bracket. I'm seeing something there, saying, say you are somewhere. We are not here, and this one is squared. Then you say, our friend, tell us what is the answer. The answer is equal to 2 square root of 10. 2 square root 10. How's it okay? You get it right. So now what is the next question? We are chowing here. Let's see. What is our next question? The next question is saying write the equation in that format. So you know that A is the center, B is the center, and this one is the radius. So radius, we found that radius. Now these are any points, so you just write them as they are. X minus y, x minus A, but our center there, you remember they are sharing the center, and the center, the equation of the center we said is -1 and -3. When you write them here, you change the sign, so it will be x plus 1 squared plus what is that one? Y plus, because it's negative, plus 3, and then the square is equal to 2 root 10 squared, right? Why do we say that is 2 root squared? Because this one, we said this MP, remember they told you, MP, where is MP? MP, they said, is the radius. We calculated MP, so this is R, and the equation of a circle, it has R squared, this side. So this is R, and then you square it. Go borrow our favorite friend. Our favorite friend, where are you, our friend? And then you use your calculator to find. Get used to pressing your calculator. Please don't stay without a calculator, and then the examination time comes, you are unable to press your calculator, because most of the time you find learners borrowing calculators that they do not own, and then when it comes to exam, they don't finish the papers because they are still trying to learn the calculator, how to use the calculator. All right. So our friend, our beautiful friend, is back there, and then you press your calculator and see what we get. 2 root 10, and then you square that, you get 40. You get 40. I can calculate in my mind. And then you get what? Beautiful friend, please tell us, what is 2 root 10? You get 40, right? What is this one? Please learn to press your calculator. It's very important. Sometimes you know the maths, but you don't know the calculate, then you fail. Not because you don't know, because you don't know the calculate, not because you don't know the maths. So this is your equation in that format. Then now the last question, our very last question. Okay, it's been a long video, eh? I hope you are following your teach. Okay, let's see the last question. Let's erase. Okay, and the last question, 4.5, right? If you do not understand anything, please feel free to ask. Now, let's see if f is a point. F, let's write it. F is a point which has the values 2, root 2, and 0. Now they are saying this is a root 5. Sorry. Maybe my mind is getting to be quarantined. I'm getting self-quarantined, guys. So my mind is quarantining itself from me. Okay, so it's 4.5. So now what we have f as 2 root 5 and 0. So they are saying is it lying inside and outside the circle? Suppose you answer by showing calculation. Use your brain, guys. Use your brain. If you have a circle like this one, right, then let's use a cal. If a point is lying inside a circle, that means, remember the equation of a circle, this side is equal to r squared. So the point, whatever value, whatever side this one, let's write the equation of a circle. The equation of a circle we said is x minus, what is our equation for our circle? X plus 1 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals to 40. And this 40 is equal to r squared. And this side is equal to r squared as well, because this thing is equal to that side. So this 40 is equal to r squared. So what we do, we know that for our point to lie inside the circle, so if you have a point, that means the point must be less than this side must be less than that side of r squared to ensure that the point is inside. The moment your point is greater than r squared, that means your point is outside your circle. So for a circle to lie inside, you need r squared to be less than 40. That means it must be less than 40, or r squared to be greater than 40 is outside. This is, sorry, I was not supposed to write O. I told you guys that my mind is self-quarantining, it's self-isolating it from me. Okay, so this is what is the condition for this circle to be inside. But then what is outside? Outside, if it's greater than 40, that means it's lying outside, right? This is the condition. So what you are given, the values, the x values and the y values. So take these values, substitute them there and see if it's less than 40 or greater than 40. If it's less than 40, ingaphakathi is inside. So we take there and put in our values in the equation of that circle, because they said the circle is C2, and that's the equation of circle C2. And then what is the x value? Remember, I said this x and y represent any point. So now we want to check this is the point, so we can substitute the x and y. So what do we do? What is our x? 2 root 5, right? Plus 1 squared. Plus, what is the y side? 0 plus, because y is 0. So it's 0 plus 3 all squared. Then we borrow our favorite friend to help us with the maths. Then we see what we get. It is equal to 2 in bracket. Please learn to use your bracket. The brackets will help you in pressing the calculator. Please, it's 2 root 5 plus plus 1. Our friend is very slow. Plus and 3 squared. So what do we get? You get 38. That thing, sorry, let's write it as it is first before we write it. That thing is equal to, what is it? Let's see. 30 root 30 plus 4 root 5. Let's write it as it is first. 30 plus 4 root 5. I'm sure you cannot read this number. You do not have an image of what is it. But let's see. We see that it's 30 plus 4 root 5. Now we want to know what is this thing. You press your calculator again from, what is it? Press our friend. You press the button SD, right? To write it in standard decimal. Then what is it? That means it's what? 38,94. So we get 38,94. So is this thing is equal to r squared in this case. So what is it? Since this thing 38,94 is less than 40. So this means, guess what is the implication of this? That means this thing is less than 40, so it is inside. Therefore F is inside. So I'm sure we tried our best to help you, but due to time, we tried the best we can do. So if you have any question, you are also allowed to share with us your questions. We'll try our best to answer. So thank you guys. Continue sharing with your classmates and everyone so that we ensure that this opportunity reaches many matriculants and grade 11s and grade 10s as possible, because the content of maths is the same. Thank you very much. See you next time in the next video.
Perfect. Hey, Chief.